Okay, we are back in the house. Welcome back. It's 3 by 5. Once again, I'm the three, he's the five. Christopher Mark and my main man, Maury Batik on the other end.
What's happening?
Wataguan.
What's happening?
Maury, you doing good?
Yes, sir. How about yourself, man?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm doing real good today because we are switching gears and we are jumping into a cult classic film comedy. And we're going to start, however, with the trailer for Coming to America 2, starring Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall. In theaters, I believe it is March the 5th on Amazon.
Long time coming.
Long time coming. Wow, since 1988. We're going to get to 1988 in a minute, but we're going to start with the trailer and start with uh, our thoughts, your thoughts, and my thoughts on how this trailer went. Okay, was it enticing enough? Did it give us all the feels that we needed, or did it kind of leave us like, this may not be a good follow up to the 1988, still funny as hell, Coming to America? So, um, the trailer starts out very good, I thought. Again, we have pre-production meetings. It sounds professional and very white collarish, but nonetheless, we do talk.
Caffeine and everything.
You know, and it starts out with a familiar voice, the voice of James Earl Jones. Everybody knows and loves him as Darth Vader, the voice of Darth Vader. The Lion King, he was the voice of Mufasa.
Yes.
Um, and here he's returning as King Jaffe Joffer.
Joffrey Joffer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it starts out with him talking and to his son Hakeem, or Akeem, and telling him, kind of laying down the plot, the main plot of the movie.
Yep.
And as you and I spoke, I loved it. I loved it. Where
Um,
else could you start? If you
Great
have
way to
this
start.
man, yeah. If you have this man in your cast, uh, you better start with him because his voice is second to none.
Second to none. Second to none. We talked about it in the earlier meeting. He's on the Mount Rushmore, if you will, of black male voiceover superstars. You got
Yes.
Earl Jones,
Uh-huh.
Dennis Haysbert, if you don't know, is the State Farm guy, the
Yes.
president from
No, the Allstate guy.
Allstate guy. Thank you, and
Right.
the president from what was that show with Kiefer Sutherland? 24, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
then you also have Morgan Freeman, you
Morgan
know,
Freeman. Man had
God
the voice of
himself
God.
sometimes, right? You know, like this
Right.
doesn't get bigger than that. So yeah,
Right.
you have a James Earl Jones' voice just brings a depth, a weight, and even though we
Mm-hmm.
know this is a comedy, like his role in the first one, that's what gave some weight to that whole thing,
Yeah.
and it's his serious. And like he was like, hey, I'm actually King Joffrey Joffer, and I'm taking this serious, with a little wink,
Yeah. I'm
and
looking
yeah,
for my
so yeah,
son Hakeem. You know what I
right,
mean? Like,
right, exactly,
fine. You know what I
exactly.
mean?
My son works, like, come on, like just
Yo,
yes,
when that
yes,
dude talks, people
yes.
listen. And I mean, dude, I'm not even gonna tell you on YouTube, me going and looking for clips of just Darth Vader talking. You know, what I mean, from hell, that Rogue One clip. I'm not gonna go too
Right.
far off. I'm sorry. I'm coming back, but yeah, James Earl Jones starts it out. This is the voice. This is the beginning. It's a great beginning. It's funny because oftentimes in these movies that are based in or rooted in some type of African culture, whether fictional or nonfiction, you know, you get this flyover type scene over the woods. I mean, over the tree lines and birds flying and
Yes.
elephants and giraffe running, and you get this in the trailer again. Here we are again, which is obviously some type of formula that works. But
Yep.
when you add his voice to it, it really kind of settles you in, sets the tone. You
Dude,
know,
I'm gonna take it a little bit further. When you get the I believe in movie terms they call it the establishing shot that let us know
go
who you
ahead,
are, all right? But when
speak
you
to
get
this
that coming
non-film
in
school
over the
dude.
trailer, right? I didn't go to film school either. uh, for me, when you see that Paramount logo
Hmm.
and the stars
Stars
coming
rapping,
in as you're
yeah,
going in over the lake or ocean or whatever the hell it is to the
right.
mountain, like that was a sign back in the 80s when the original one came out that you were about to see something good. Like Paramount just they made a lot
Mm-hmm.
of great movies in the 80s. You know, it
Mm-hmm.
was kind of like the if you remember the TriStar one with the Pegasus and its wings. Like, right, you knew you were going to see something
Mm-hmm.
epic.
Yeah, you can see
There
the
was the
Last Dragon.
right,
You know what I
right.
mean?
You know, the Carol one that had like the Rambo theme. You knew you were going to see like some 80s like action movie. You know, shoot 'em up
Yeah,
type stuff. Like,
yeah,
so that already, like just that, and that's the freaking studio. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
that alone, Eddie and Paramount meant something, and we'll get to that when we go in kind of his catalog there. But Eddie
yeah.
and Paramount, when you knew Eddie was in the movie, and then you saw that Paramount logo, like it was like, all right, this
Right.
we good, we
Settle
good.
in. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So then that's what we started out with, and it's cool. And then that is your return to Zamunda.
Boom.
Okay, which some people may be like, I hardly remember the name of the land and all that because, as you and I talked again, we always say this. Um, Zamunda was the first of a kind.
Yeah.
And again, we know that this is a comedy. We
Yes.
know the original Coming to America, is a comedy.
Yes.
But guess what? It's still the first of its kind for a lot of different reasons.
Yes, sir.
Um, Before there was a Wakanda, right? Before there was Lion King, before there was any type of, you know, mystical, mythical African kingdom, fictional kingdom, Eddie Murphy put it down with Zamunda.
Put it down.
And, though it was a comedy and there was a lot of funny aspects to it, but this was a kingdom of prosperity. It was very lively and colorful,
Yes.
you know, steeped in traditions and, which is what the movie pretty much is about, the tradition of this prince meeting his wife to be back in 88.
Exactly.
So this land is like, you know it was very symbolic. It was very different. You know what I mean? This picture that was painted, and now that we're returning to, we're not going to get too much into '88 yet. That's for later on.
Right.
But we're returning to Zamunda. We're looking at this trailblazing, which we who knew back then, but this trailblazing land, and we're back, and we've gotten James Earl Jones. We're back in Zamunda, and then James Earl Jones tells Hakeem that he has a son. You know what I mean? And then we have to go. You get a shot of Eddie Murphy in Arsenio Hall, and he says, "Simi, we're going back to America." And what does Simi say?
Oh, hell no.
And at that point, you knew it was on. You
Right.
knew it was
Right.
on
Right.
because, oh, hell no, Your Majesty. I mean, he really rocked that joint. And
Yeah.
then the
Yeah.
music starts,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
uh
Yeah.
and now we're on. So it was really cool. It was refreshing, um, and it's just good. It felt good. You felt like you were back to a place that you knew. You know what I mean? And then after they hit you with that, well, you're comfortable and the laughs are starting, and then they start rolling with the cast of this movie. You
Yep.
know, and
Yep.
who do we have in this cast? Just to name a few. I know there are a lot of others. We've already mentioned Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall.
Well,
Uh,
if you don't mind, before we even get to the first kind of face that pops up, big name that pops up to kind of set things going, if you dig a little bit deeper, because that's what I do, uh, they start off showing a flower girl first before anything, and I don't know if that flower girl. I didn't slow down the trailer. I didn't dig
mhm.
that deep, but. Vanessa Bell Calloway is still listed in the credits in this one. She was the original perfect queen that Eddie was
Right.
supposed to marry in the original one. Is that her? Did Eddie or did Prince Akeem, get back with her? After he clearly broke up with what? Who knows?
Who
But point
knows?
is, we start with Flower Girls, which if you remember the original one, that's one of the highlights of like the Flower Girls are just a recurring theme in a
Flower
wedding
girls
trope.
being not at the wedding, but the ones that were throwing the rose
Yes,
petals.
yes,
Oh
yes,
yeah. Oh
exactly,
yeah. Oh
exactly
yeah.
right. So we start
Yeah.
there. But to your
Yeah.
point, we also are coming with a scene that looks very much like that wedding in the first one, or the first wedding in the first
Hmm.
one, the first wedding that didn't quite finish, where you have a lot of the dancers coming in. Wonderful costume design, which by the way is Ruth Carter, Hampton alumna, also did the costume design for Black Panther. So there you have your wonderful vibrancy tying all of it together, and why Black excellence looks good by this one woman who interprets it very well.
Mm-hmm.
Then you also have the fact that is this dance also choreographed by Paula Abdul, like the one in the first one
You
was.
gotta do your homework, big dog.
And we think that might have been because Paula and Arsenio were dating at the time. Who knows? But yeah, Paula Abdul choreographed the wedding
Like a
dance,
girl.
original Coming to America, exactly, like a girl,
Mm-hmm.
and had her own little career.
I mean,
So,
yes, that was
yeah,
the beginning. But
so we don't know if she's doing this one too, but that'd be interesting if they scooped her back into the way they, as we're about to find out, scooped in
right.
a lot of the original actors.
Yeah, and a lot of what ifs and a lot of cast and crew we want to see, people that we want to see involved in this because it worked out so well before, and kind of jumping ahead but jumping right back. I mean, Coming to America put down a lot of people. Maybe not for their first gig, but it gave them a very big stage, a very big spotlight. So is this movie going to do the same for a lot of others? But you already have some well-established people in here. Leslie Jones,
Yes.
Tracy Morgan,
Yes.
Jermaine Fowler. We already mentioned James Earl Jones, Tiana Taylor, Shari Headley. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I don't know if it's Shari or Cherie. You never know what our people's, but it's all good. Yeah, I'll take the L if I get it wrong, and correct it. And then one of my surprises so far that I really liked is Wesley Snipes.
Not only am I happy to see Wesley Snipes in this thing, like the way he's coming off in the cameo, like it looks like he's coming full send. Like he's like I'm jumping in this thing.
Yeah.
All feet, all like just he's
right
in it. He's not just clicking the check. It looks like he's in it, which I'm there for that. Yeah,
absolutely. And Snipes, he has that range, man. He can be Nino Brown. You know what I mean? He can be Blade, and he can be in this too. You know what I mean? Because he was in, he was in Major League.
Oh God!
Back in the day.
Yes.
He's been in a few comedies.
He's been in a few comedy things.
Yeah.
A few of the Spike Lee things where Spike Lee movies always tend to kind of cross the line between drama and comedy.
And there's a lighter side, right. Jungle Fever, of course. And then there were some others. He's not loving basketball. What's the joint? White Man Can't Jump.
White Man Can't Jump. And then to tie in the Eddie, who we're talking about now, the Dolomite movie that Eddie did on Netflix.
Right. Which was another. That was a good movie too. Which you may see that a little later. Spoiler alert. But and then once you roll through while they're rolling through the credits, once he says, "Oh hell no, Your Majesty," and they start rolling not the credits but the cast. People may not have noticed. They may have. You have a real funky, kind of hip hop funk song in the background. What our man Mr. Cal. Yeah, James Brown is kind of, we back or something to that effect. But it was rocking. It was cool.
Yes.
I could see you at this movie. If we can get to theaters to see it, which I doubt, because it's only coming on Prime, Amazon anyway. But I can't say only, but I think that's the only way that they're releasing it. But I mean, that's one of those things where if you don't live at a spot there's a black movie theater, you make it a point to go to that joint because it's going to be a party.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a party.
It's an event.
Right.
More than
you get your popcorn and all your stuff, not just for what's going on the screen, but what's happening in the theater too.
Sir.
And that's just how we do.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's a party. And then the next scene is them going back to the barbershop, Mr. Clarence's barbershop.
Hey, it's Kunta Kinte!
He says, Kunta Kinte and Ebola. Yo, I almost fell out when I heard that. I was like, these dudes have no chill, man.
Man, like.
And then, Arsenio comes with, I think he said Winnie and Nelson Mandela and Willie.
And Winnie, yeah. And then, oh God, what was the other one? It was another good one.
I can't remember it,
Mm.
but the young dude in the chair, the younger dude in the chair, younger than the guys in the that work at the barbershop,
Yes.
he was like yeah, like look, and I'm not laughing at this, I'm not, but it's a comedy, so we're
It's
gonna
a
laugh.
comedy. We can laugh.
He's like
It's a
the
comedy.
babies with the, and like the babies with the flies on their face, and of course, it's like the
Whoa,
record skip is like,
whoa, whoa! You're gonna cross the line, man.
yeah, whoa, 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 whoa. He's like, that's a little too much there. You just stepped over the line. He
Right,
said,
right,
we
right.
talking about babies and flies on them. We don't do that shit here. He's like, you got to get out of my chair. And that's at that point. At that point, I knew, and I'm confident that this movie's going to be a success
Yes, sir.
because you know, not only is Eddie Murphy is a master of comedy. He can tell a story. He can he do a great punchline. He can wrap them all up in one. He can, point out, you know, things about individuals and society. A lot of stuff that Dave Chappelle gets credit for. Eddie Murphy has laid that foundation, and Dave Chappelle's has taken it to higher heights. My point here is that he's showing you the difference between the generations. You know what I mean? And not just the generations that are on camera, but the older cats and the younger dude who may be in his 30s is in the chair, but also the generational gap between 1988 comedy and what was funny and what's considered funny now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like, we can do comedy, but we're not going to be like inhumane or rude about it. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
There's a
right,
line,
right.
and it may not be that deep, but that's the vibe I got when they were. I was laughing through it, but I was like, I appreciated it because as a man of a particular age now, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I could definitely see some of the pitfalls where in comedy or the younger folks kind of take stuff too far. You're like, no, we're supposed to be having fun here. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not being, what do you call it?
Cruel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cruel.
yeah.
You know what I'm
There's,
saying?
there's
And
no
it keeps it
malicious intent.
tasteful. You keep it tasteful.
Right, right.
And this movie does have a PG-13 rating too, for good or
Didn't know
for
that.
better or for worse.
Didn't know
It
that.
does. So
I mean,
back
honestly,
then stuff
considering the way movies are now, there's I can't think of anything in the first one that would necessitate an R rating other than the
bare-chested woman.
no. Mm-mm. You get that in PG-13. The only thing, honestly, that
Really?
separates PG-13 in most cases from R is repeated use of fuck. You can say
Mhm.
PG-13. You can say you can say fuck once in a PG-13 movie.
You said it twice.
Say it
This
once.
this this podcast is
Well,
now rated R.
I'm 48 years old. This podcast is for me.
All right, so we're back. And picking up with where we left off, they're in the barbershop. We got a few laughs. They end that little scene with, he turns around and says, "So tell me what you need, Hotel Rwanda," which, as we're talking about not being cruel, that movie was a serious movie, but hilarious, dude. Hilarious. One person I did not see in the trailer, I have not seen listed in any credits, but maybe they're keeping it a secret. Maybe I haven't looked well enough. Is our man John Amos,
He
Cleo
is he
McDowell?
is listed in the credits on the official
Okay,
trailer. Yes,
hmm.
I did dig there,
See,
and to your point, you gotta dig to find out that he's in there, and I'm wondering. Here's what I'm hoping. Here's what would be awesome is if he has a cameo similar to the way that Don Amici and oh god, I cannot remember the other dude's name had a cameo in the original Coming to America when they were the
hmm.
antagonists from Trading Places,
Trading
Ralph and
Places,
Mortimer
right,
Duke.
right.
Ralph, we're back. I think it was like
Yeah,
we're back in business.
Mortimer,
Mortimer, we're back in
we're
business.
back.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
after
yeah.
he dropped all that cash on him.
Yes, yes. So a similar cameo like that to have a callback to the first one would be cool. Would be cool.
Cool,
Yeah, would be
cool.
cool.
Because I mean, as James Earl Jones is, uh, John Amos is up in age. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir.
He's in his early 80s, so that also plays a part in it. Like we said, this is going to be streaming on Amazon um, come March 5th. And as we wrap up here, Maury, what are you most anticipating? What do you want to see most, or what do you if not what you want to see most, what are you a little bit concerned about? Because again, the 1988 original is a classic, and everyone is worried about, are they going to mess it up? Is it going to be a good follow up? You know, what type of anxiety are you having, or none at all?
Well, I will say the PG-13 rating that you just enlightened me to. Right, I didn't know that, so that gives me a little bit of a cause for anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Not much else. Like little things I saw that in the trailer, because I'm just that kind of guy that made me happy. Like early on, that private jet they show flying across is some terrible CGI. Now you may go, well, that's some terrible CGI, but I'm like, cool. I don't like that. That's 2 seconds in the film. We don't need
Right,
a real
right,
jet. Like spend that money on some talent. You know what I mean? Spend that money on
right,
some costumes.
right,
I'm cool with a cheap looking CGI jet. I'm
right.
cool with that. Um,
Only you
I
would
like the
notice that.
fact that they
Yeah.
had Soul Glow packaging and stuff still in the barbershop. They still had a Soul Glow poster
Right.
up. They still had a box up. They had a poster up of it looks like a Lakers player. And I feel like in the first one it was probably Magic. So the question is to your point
Mm-hmm.
of generational, is it Kobe in this one or is it still
Mm-hmm.
Magic? I don't know.
That'd
You
be
know,
a
did
nice
it get
little homage
updated?
to
Right,
Kobe.
right.
Right.
It'd be very interesting to see that. Um, I am very excited. I'm the most excited to see Eddie and Arsenio just do their thing with the multiple characters. Like
Right.
one of the things you can see, like I actually paused the barbershop scene and the way they're able to film multiple angles and still
Mm-hmm.
keep them all in the frame in ways they could not do in 1988. In 1988, they had to keep you
Back
all
of
in
the
frame
head.
or back of the head and a lot of
Yeah.
cut. They're still doing the back head thing, but there was a shot that I paused where it was two Arsenio's and two Eddies and the dude in the
Mm.
chair all in frame at the same time. Like that
Yeah.
you can only do in 2020. So and yeah, I'm very interested to see them really freak that multiple character thing. Yeah.
Well, I'm impressed at your analytical skills because you have picked this thing apart. That's
Too,
excellent.
too
Yeah,
much,
that's
too
some good
much.
stuff, man. That's some really good stuff. Nah, you're good, dude. Um, for me, you know, I think for me, probably, I just want a good experience. You know, a lot of times, I don't know. We're of the age where people look at us like, oh, you old school, you old school, you old school, this, that, and the third. People start talking to you and referring to you according to whatever generation you were born in or whatever. But we like to hang our hats on. We had good comedy um, back in the day. Eddie Murphy laid down some of the most classic uh, comedy movies that you'll ever see. I mean, I think I showed my kids Coming to America maybe 2 months ago for the first time, and we all sat around and cracked up. I
Exactly,
mean, gut busting laughs.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And so that being said, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the heavy laughs. I'm looking for those moments for the culture. Those quotables for the culture, all that stuff, because that's what the first one did. And if it
Yep,
can reach that level, man,
yep.
it's going to be, sky's the limit.
Well,
And I think people,
I got hope, man. It's a lot of pressure. I hate to put pressure on my man, but I'm gonna put some pressure on you, dude. It's written by Kenya Barris.
and I did do that. I had that in my notes as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That's good stuff. Folks, if you don't know, Kenya Barris, Grownish, Blackish,
Blackish.
Girls Trip, Girlfriends, The Game. Hold
Hmm.
on, something else. The 2019 version of Shaft. Uh, One more. I'm missing something. I'm missing something. I'm missing something.
Get it?
No. You know what I am missing is
It's
the
Netflix joint.
director. The director is Craig Brewer, who
Hmm.
directed Hustle and Flow,
Okay.
Black Snake Moan,
Mm.
and Boomerang TV movie,
Mm.
and the Dolomite movie
Mm.
with Eddie in it. So
Okay.
he's so and what's funny is kind of somewhat of a similar makeup to the original, where you have a white director who clearly has a good working relationship with Eddie, And then you have Eddie, having input in the story. But this time around, we do have a black writer, which I don't think was the case first time around. So
You would know that.
yeah, some hope there.
I would not. Okay, well, that's what's up. So there you have it.
Yep.
Coming to America 2.
Yep.
Trailer reaction. 3x5. I'm the 3. He's the 5. Christopher Mark and Maury Batik doing it how we do it.
Yep.
And that's how we like it. Just how we do it. So there you have it. We'll see you all next time. You can check us out. Peace.
Deuces.